As we close out Women's History Month, we're bringing you the inspiring story of Dr. Ruth Simmons, a trailblazer who defied the odds to become the first black president of an Ivy League institution. Born right here in East Texas during a time of deep segregation, Dr. Simmons overcame poverty to lead at Brown University. CBS 19's Ayanna Air takes us through her remarkable journey and the lessons she now shares with the next generation.
Born right here in Grapeland, Texas, Dr. Ruth Simmons defied the odds by becoming the first black president of an Ivy League institution.
I was born in 1945, and of course that was a time of deep segregation, and it was before civil rights, and there were very limited opportunities for blacks.
Simmons is the youngest of 12 children. Her family lived on a sharecropper's farm in Grapeland where every day was spent working the land. But amid hardships of segregation, Simmons cherished the moments of togetherness with her family.
I loved just being with my parents and my sisters and brothers and enjoying the open fields, and because we were free to wander. Because I actually started school in Grapeland. And for me, it was eye-opening because imagine I'm sequestered on this farm. I never get to see much at all. And then one day I walk into a classroom in Grapeland and it's heavenly.
Her first experience in a classroom sparked a journey that would lead her into uncharted territory, a path she never could have imagined.
All around me on a sharecropper's farm, only your physical labor mattered. So if you could pick a lot of cotton, well, you got a lot of praise. If you could do hard work, you got a lot of praise. But if you couldn't do those things, you didn't get any praise. So here I was in a classroom, and a teacher, when I was able to use my mind and to do something, would praise me. So, as I often say, that was the first time I began to realize that mind work was quite possibly as important as physical labor.
At 7 years old, her family moved to Houston, where Simmons continued her education. The teachers she met there encouraged her to think beyond the limitations placed on her and consider college, something she had never even thought possible.
Of course, in those days, people said blacks couldn't perform at a high level. They weren't intelligent enough, and so on. And so I was awakening to the fact that those were all lies and that I actually had this capacity. And I was just enjoying that, not expecting it to lead anywhere.
Her time at Dillard University in 1967, where she earned her bachelor's degree, exposed her to a new world, one where equality was a possibility and where she could explore her potential to make a difference.
I'm going on the basis of what I experienced, what I saw my parents experience in Grapeland and beyond. And I longed for a world where that didn't exist.
That longing for a world of fairness and opportunity ultimately led her to Harvard University, where she obtained her master's and doctorate degrees. Simmons then became an assistant dean at USC, then Princeton and Smith College. Did you face any barriers early in your academic career?
No, of course. Anybody, keep in mind that when I started out, I got my degree from Harvard in 1973. Well, so starting with Harvard, when I decided to go to graduate school to get a PhD, many people thought that that was very foolish. So what was a black girl doing studying for a PhD in French? It was impractical. I continued to call out people for improper behavior. I continued to talk about unfairness to students, discrimination against women and against blacks, and that didn't make for a very popular message at the time.
But that, quote, foolishness and hunger for more led Dr. Simmons to become the first black president of an Ivy League institution, where she served at Brown University from 2001 to 2012. Looking back at your younger self, the little girl in Grapeland, Texas, to becoming the first Black president of an Ivy League institution, how do you feel?
Amazed. Of course, I could not, in the environment that I was in at the time, I could not have imagined anybody achieving that. Anybody. Certainly not me. And I have to say that one of the things that I continue to reflect on is the fact that what was remarkable to me was not just the fact that I was Black, but it's also the fact of how desperately poor I was as a child.
Which is why investing in the younger generation the way teachers invested in her is top of mind.
We have to look at every child, no matter their race, no matter their economic situation, and we have to see the potential that's there for society. Because nobody could have said that someone who lived on Sumter Street in Fifth Ward could become president of an Ivy League university.
Simmons stresses the importance of speaking your voice. Her upbringing in East Texas instilled in her that, despite the obstacles, anything was possible if you kept moving forward.
You know, I am forever grateful for the life I had early on in Texas. Without my childhood, I couldn't have been the person that I am today. And I don't say that because I'm saying that everybody should be poor. I'm not saying that everybody should be discriminated against. Not at all. But I am saying that because I experienced those things, it actually made me a better leader.
Simmons believes the hardships she endured gave her the perspective to lead with empathy and determination.
Whatever their profession, whatever their situation, that young people are always watching you. And we should be mindful of that because we cannot know what will inspire a young person. So our job is to see a future that is better and never give up on that vision.
Reporting for CBS 19, I'm Ayanna Aird.